How many dreams have you abandoned, and how many opportunities have you missed because you were afraid of failing? Many people can't achieve their dreams because they don't feel secure or capable. Worse yet, they're afraid of criticism from others, what their parents, spouse, or friends will say, and start believing they don't deserve what they're striving for. If you've thought of some situations in your life right now, it's time to learn how to handle insecurity using the practical wisdom of Stoicism. Developing this skill can change how you live and the results you achieve. Especially nowadays, with social media where we are constantly judged and influenced to compare ourselves to others. But what if we could learn to be more confident, calm, and at peace with ourselves, despite the constant pressure from social media, where many seek approval and external validation at any cost? Stoicism offers a powerful perspective. It teaches us to focus on what truly matters, cultivating an inner strength that allows us to face any challenge with mental clarity and confidence. In this video, we will explore 9 Stoic wisdom concepts that will help you stop being insecure. If you've ever lost a battle against insecurity or struggled with your self-image in this digital age, this video is for you. These concepts will help you develop a mindset of confidence and self-respect that doesn't depend on likes or followers but on a deep understanding and acceptance of yourself. You've greatly supported our work. Remember, the completely free way to support our work is to like this video, leave a comment, and share it. Now, let's get started. Concept 1, don't try to be perfect. The question Epictetus asked his students every day was, have you made progress? Not, have you done it perfectly? There's a difference between progressing and being a perfectionist. The first helps you change and pushes you further, while the second almost always paralyzes you. Perfection is the enemy of action. Even though many believe that being a perfectionist is synonymous with dedication and effort, in reality, it becomes a trap where many feel stuck. This relentless pursuit of perfection is deeply tied to insecurity, and action holds more value than perfection, which will never be achieved. This obsession with perfection often masks a deep insecurity and a constant fear of failing or being judged. Epictetus reminds us that we will never be perfect because perfection doesn't exist. We are human and, by nature, flawed. Only God is perfect. When we act out of perfectionism, we believe that living perfectly, acting perfectly, and appearing perfect will avoid negative feelings like guilt, judgment, and shame. But this behavior is a reflection of our insecurity and becomes a shield to avoid judgment and disappointment. Our actions should focus on progress, not the relentless pursuit of perfection. If you take longer than necessary to complete a simple task, procrastinate on delivering a project because it's not perfect yet, or refuse to start something because the conditions aren't ideal or you're afraid of failing, remember, done is better than perfect. The idea is not to settle or do things haphazardly, compromising your standards of quality, but rather not to be trapped by the idealism of perfection. Moving forward is more important. In the words of Marcus Aurelius, do now what nature demands of you. Go straight to the point if it's within your power. Don't look around to see if people will notice. Don't expect perfection from Plato's Republic, but be content with even the smallest progress and don't consider the result trivial. We can advance one step at a time or slowly, but the most important thing is not to be paralyzed by perfectionism, which is often a manifestation of our own insecurity. Concept 2, Memento Mori. In his Meditations, Marcus Aurelius wrote, "You could leave life right now. Let that determine what you do, say, and think." The second Stoic concept to overcome insecurity is to reflect on death, which the Stoics called memento mori, meaning, remember that you will die. Though it might initially seem grim or even morbid, it is one of the most powerful tools for living a virtuous life now. Reflecting on death helps us put things into perspective and appreciate what truly matters. Understanding that our life is finite, that in 150 years, for example, none of our fears will make sense, and nothing we know will likely be the same, frees us from trivial worries, from getting upset over petty things or feeling insecure, and helps us focus on what's essential. Epictetus advised us, think of death as someone who is always watching you and let that guide your actions and thoughts. Insecurity often stems from fear of others' judgment, fear of failure, and uncertainty about the future. Living with the belief that you are incapable of doing certain things and never feeling worthy or deserving of the praise you hear. Insecurity prevents us from believing in our true value. When we remember that life is short, these fears lose their power. We realize that many of our daily worries are insignificant in the grand scheme of things. For example, if you're afraid of driving because you might forget to signal or stall the car, remembering that life passes quickly and is too short can give you the courage to start driving lessons. Or if you're passionate about something and have always dreamed of making it your profession, but fear you won't succeed, worry about what others will say, or are hesitant to change careers at this point in your life, start thinking in terms of memento mori. You might spend your whole life without living your dreams. There's no time to waste on insecurities and fears. This encourages us to live more authentically and make bold decisions. To practice this, start putting your fears against time. In 5 or 10 years, will these insecurities still make sense? Make a list of all your worries. Many of them won't withstand the test of time. This helps you distinguish between what deserves your attention and what doesn't. Every day, take at least one action aligned with your values and life purpose. It could be something simple, like expressing gratitude, or something significant, like working on a project you're passionate about. Reflecting on death can be a source of motivation to overcome insecurity and live with more courage and authenticity. Seneca went even deeper when he said, "You may not wake up tomorrow, or when you wake up, you may not sleep again." Start living now. Remember that every moment is precious, and there's no time to waste on unnecessary doubts and fears. Concept 3, Embrace change. Seneca, in his letters, wrote, "Nothing we see is permanent. I, myself, while speaking of change, have already changed. No one can step into the same river twice, for when they do, they find different waters, and the person themselves has changed." The Stoics valued change because they understood that it is an inevitable part of life and that resisting it only causes suffering. Instead of fighting against the constant flow of changes, they encouraged us to embrace them and adapt with flexibility. Embracing change means recognizing that everything in life is transient and that our circumstances can shift at any moment. This liberates us from excessive attachment to material things or rigid expectations about how things should be. Both the one who remembers and what is remembered change. Insecurity often arises when we cling to the known and fear the unknown. What happens next? This increases both our fears and insecurities. By accepting change as a natural part of life, we become stronger, more resilient, and adaptable. Instead of resisting with fear and anxiety, or even denial, we can embrace change as an opportunity for growth and learning. For example, if your wife or girlfriend ends the relationship with you, it's a difficult and sometimes irreversible situation. You can't control how someone else feels about you. Accepting change allows you to face the situation with calm and determination. Instead of lamenting what you've lost, you can focus on the opportunities this change may bring. To practice accepting change, consider the areas of your life where you are overly attached to one way of doing things or only to certain outcomes. Practice letting go of this attachment and opening yourself to new possibilities. Cultivate a flexible mindset that allows you to adapt to new circumstances. Instead of resisting challenges, ask yourself how you can use them as opportunities to grow and learn. Instead of seeing change as a threat, practice seeing it as a blessing in disguise. Be grateful for the lessons it teaches and the opportunities it brings. Zeno of Citium, the founder of Stoicism, used a metaphor of a dog tied to a cart to explain our difficulty in changing our lives. The dog represents people, and the cart represents the inevitable events of life. The dog has a leash that gives it some freedom. When the cart moves, the dog has two options: resist the movement, which will cause pain, or follow the movement and remain unhurt. When we believe we can avoid or control movement, we end up suffering much more. By accepting change as a natural part of life, you become more confident in yourself and your ability to face any challenge, and you suffer less. You free yourself from the fear of the future and open yourself to a world of unlimited possibilities. Concept 4, the importance of self-control. Our fourth Stoic concept to overcome insecurity is cultivating self-control. Self-control is the ability to regulate our emotions, impulses, and desires by acting consciously. In Stoicism, self-control is essential to achieve inner tranquility and live virtuously. This involves directly observing our own emotional reactions and behaviors and consciously deciding how to respond to them. Seneca advised, learn to discard the part of yourself that disappoints you. Focus on what you can control. For example, if you feel jealousy or envy, self-control allows you to recognize these feelings and choose to respond constructively. Instead of being carried away by envy, you can practice gratitude for what you have. To practice self-control, set aside time each day to observe your emotional reactions and behaviors. Ask yourself what triggered these reactions and how you could have responded differently. Identify an area of your life where you would like to have more self-control, such as your diet, exercise, or impulsive spending. Set clear goals and work towards achieving them by developing habits that help you reach these goals. Practice training your mind to be more present and less susceptible to distractions and automatic reactions. By cultivating self-control, you become more confident in yourself and your ability to handle any situation. Free from the control of negative emotions, you open yourself to a life of greater tranquility and balance. Concept 5, the dichotomy of control. The fifth Stoic concept to overcome insecurity is to understand and apply the dichotomy of control. If this is the first time you're hearing this concept, it refers to distinguishing what is within your control and what is not. Epictetus was one of the great Stoic philosophers and one of the few who had a school of Stoicism, so he is one of those responsible for simplifying this philosophy, making it as practical as possible for his students of the time to understand and use in their daily lives. It was so practical that soldiers read his books before battles. The dichotomy helps us deal with insecurity because we often worry about factors beyond our control, like what others will think, how they will react, or outcomes we cannot predict. When you focus only on what you can control, you automatically reduce the anxiety and stress that accompany these worries. For example, when going for a job interview, instead of being anxious about whether you'll be hired, which is completely out of your control, you can focus on giving the best presentation, answering sincerely, and demonstrating your skills and willingness to take the position, which is within your control. Another example is at work. Often, we perform our tasks with dedication, even when conditions are not favorable, hoping our boss will recognize our value, which is beyond our control. Without realizing it, we completely focus our energy on this. And we stop acting on what we can control, recognizing our value ourselves. Seneca, another great Stoic philosopher, in his letters, also reinforces the idea, saying how we should focus on our actions and attitudes instead of seeking external approval. Understanding and accepting the dichotomy between what we can and cannot control is one of life's greatest challenges. But it is also one of the most valuable lessons we can learn because it helps you deal with outcomes, whatever they may be, with unwavering serenity. When you know you've done everything you could, you can feel at peace, knowing the rest is in the hands of life's unpredictability. This acceptance builds an internal foundation of security that remains firm regardless of the ups and downs life throws at us. So, the next time you feel insecure, ask yourself, is this under my control? If the answer is no, let it go. Practice letting go and start focusing your energy and thoughts on what you can change. Stephen Covey, author of The 7 Habits of Highly Effective People, said something that highlights this point well: the key is not to prioritize what's on your schedule but to schedule your priorities. Following this advice, you organize your mind more clearly and focused, spending energy only on productive actions. Over time, this practice becomes more and more natural. Your levels of insecurity will decrease, and you will begin to live with more calm and confidence. The serenity you start to develop is not a sign of indifference but of wisdom. It is the wisdom of knowing where to focus your efforts and how to gracefully accept what is beyond your control. Concept 6, the ability to change your beliefs. Our sixth concept on how to stop being insecure is overcoming one of the greatest obstacles we can face, our own mind. Often, we carry limiting beliefs, thoughts, and assumptions that tell us what we cannot do or achieve. Whether it's because a teacher pointed at you in school and said you wouldn't amount to anything, or due to some family situation. Many times, we even forget these situations, but somehow they remain ingrained in our subconscious. These beliefs can be more harmful than actual obstacles, arising from past experiences, social expectations, or our own insecurities. Overcoming these limiting beliefs requires introspection, self-awareness, and a willingness to challenge them. The Stoics believed we always have the capacity to cultivate a more supportive inner world. Without the tools to manage our emotions, think critically, and remain calm, it becomes much easier to be guided by our environment and impulses rather than deciding our own path. Stoic philosophy provides us with a practical framework to guide us in cultivating a more favorable state of mind and acting as an anchor amid the storms of chaos, the turmoil of crowds, and the heat of the moment. By abandoning these negative, unrealistic, and destructive beliefs, you allow your mind to open to new perspectives and possibilities. This is a step that must be taken to enable you to experience the unknown and move towards new beginnings with confidence and positivity. After all, your beliefs shape your reality. By believing that you can, you pave the way for success. Concept 7. Practice self-knowledge. Stoicism is not just a philosophy, it is also a path to self-improvement. Through continuous practice in improving your character and skills, you discover more about yourself. This journey can be enriched by subscribing to our channel and turning on notifications to not miss any videos, reading, making an effort to practice daily, and taking time for reflection. According to the Stoics, self-knowledge is a good in itself, and the pursuit of it can provide us with a sense of purpose and fulfillment that goes beyond external success or material things. Our fears and insecurities occur more in our minds than in reality. When you dedicate yourself to self-knowledge, you gain the power to control your mind, transforming your perceptions and consequently your reality. As Seneca wisely reminds us, we suffer more in imagination than in reality. Understanding this truth helps us face our fears with more courage and clarity. Concept 8. Pay attention to your self-talk. What you think of yourself is much more important than what others think of you. This simple truth, which Marcus Aurelius wrote as a reminder in his personal diary called Meditations, can transform the way you see the world and how you respond to it. Our internal dialogue shapes our perception, influences our emotions, and determines our actions. Therefore, taking care of that inner voice is essential for becoming more confident. Positive self-talk is key to building self-confidence and overcoming insecurities. Tony Robbins, a renowned American author, once said, "The only person who can change your life is yourself." This quote highlights the importance of taking responsibility for our internal dialogue and recognizing that we are the masters of our destiny. An effective way to improve your self-talk is to practice positive affirmations every day. Instead of telling yourself, "Wow, I'm doing everything wrong," or "I can't learn," start repeating encouraging phrases like, "I can learn," "I can change," which can help reprogram your mind to focus on the positive. These affirmations combat negative thoughts and strengthen your self-image. Another practice that greatly improves your self-talk is to start feeling grateful. Not just saying it, but genuinely perceiving your life with gratitude. When you focus on the things you are grateful for, you shift your attention from what you lack to what you already have. This creates a mindset of abundance and contentment, reducing anxiety and your insecurities. Try keeping a gratitude journal and write down 3 things you are grateful for every day. It is also important to learn to challenge your negative thoughts. When a negative thought arises, ask yourself, "Is this really true?" or "What's the worst that could happen?" Often, our fears and insecurities are exaggerated or unfounded. Questioning these thoughts reduces their power over you and allows you to replace them with a more balanced perspective. Remember that changing your self-talk is a continuous process. It's not about being perfect, but about making constant progress. Celebrate your small victories and be kind to yourself when facing challenges. Over time, positive self-talk not only improves your self-confidence but also transforms your life in profound ways. By mastering your inner voice, you become more resilient, confident, and capable of facing any obstacle. Concept 9. Take one step at a time. Stoicism emphasizes practical action over theory. It's not just about having philosophical ideas, but about applying them in your daily life. The Stoics believe that knowledge without action is useless. So put these principles into practice. Take time to reflect, meditate, or practice breathing exercises. Integrate these habits into your routine, and you will develop a more stoic view of life. Taking the first step or starting over is a process, not a one-time event, and therefore requires patience and persistence. Progress occurs step by step, where each small achievement is a victory to be celebrated. Don't think that from today to tomorrow this insecurity will cease to exist, but you will work every day to become more confident and have more courage to act. At the same time, it is important to remember that difficulties and setbacks are part of the journey, not just signs of failure. Patience in the process of starting over is a demonstration of understanding and acceptance that real and lasting changes do not happen overnight. Persistence, on the other hand, is about moving forward, even when the path gets tough. It's about cultivating a growth mindset, which sees challenges as opportunities to learn and grow, not as insurmountable obstacles. It's about understanding that our fear and insecurity can gradually be replaced by confidence, self-knowledge, and courage. Having patience and persisting in the process is not always easy, but it is essential for building your self-confidence. Your journey is unique, and each step taken, no matter how small, is a move towards your goals and dreams. Remember, Stoicism is a practice. You don't need to be perfect, but commit to living by these principles every day. Change will come gradually, and you will notice that you are dealing with situations more balanced and resiliently. Move forward with patience, persistence, and the certainty that you have what it takes to make this journey a success story. And I hope this video touches your heart and that you can feel and act with more confidence from today. If you've made it this far, leave a comment. I will be more confident.